Here is a kiss for Khozan. And of course, we just call her Kiss. She is a 16 and a half hand 6-year-old thoroughbred mare by Khozan, which is a distorted humor line. She had 30 career starts, and her last was on July 8th, so she's just right off the track. And I put quite a bit of work and time into her. She's a really sweet mare. I mean, she gives all the vibes that she wants to be a wonderful horse. She's very quiet and easy on the ground. For whatever reason, remnants of her racing life, she has some anxiety under saddle. And so that really kind of starts at the mounting block. So I'm showing the whole process of me. This is, from the moment I walk up the block until I get on, this is what it's looking like right now. It actually takes about a minute and 15 seconds, so it's not really that long of a process. But this is, and I'm not saying there's not other ways to work with them on getting them to stand calmly at the mounting block. This is just what's working for me. I want her to learn to stand calmly at the mounting block. And in order for her to land to stand calmly at the mounting block, everything needs to be calm. So I'm not going to get in a big fight with her and force her to stand still. I'm gently asking her to pause sometimes, but then she might, in a couple of the times, if you really go back and look super closely, I know it's hard to tell on video because it's just so subtle. But she kind of will pause but block with her shoulder, or pause and then sort of shift her weight back like she wants to take some backward steps. And when she does that, then I just ask her to move forward again. And so then I just wait for her to actually pause and just stand. And that's working really well. I think it literally took I was almost at 115 minutes, a minute and 15 seconds for her to just calmly stand there and let me get on. And she was wonderful. So that's where she's at with her mounting block process. It's just a matter of patience. You really should never be in a rush when you're riding horses. That tends to never go well, but especially with her, you just cannot be worried about how long it takes. If you're not worried about the time, ironically, it tends to not take that long. But when you are rushed, of course, things never go to plan. So she's just a horse that I make sure that I am not worried about hurrying with. And I do have to say that she probably wins the most improved award for the last week. She's made a tremendous amount of progress. I talked a lot in the last ride that I posted of her about just how she has some anxiety associated with riding. And no doubt, obviously, she was a racehorse until 2 weeks ago, associated from racing. And that's not terribly uncommon. I would say that hers is a little bit more than average, but she is coming through it really well, actually. And so, she doesn't need a letdown in the sense that she shouldn't be ridden. What she needs is to be restarted in a program that's not in a hurry, that's just going to meet her where she is. And she should be consistently ridden and working, because the more that I work with her, the better she gets. But it just can't be with some rush to, have her out competing or doing XYZ by a certain day. It just has to be on her own calendar. And, of course, ironically, when you do that, things tend to actually just go the quickest. So her level of relaxation has improved tenfold since the last time I rode her. I did change the bit. I don't actually think that has anything to do with it. But since she is going well and now I've got her in this bit, I'm just going to stick with it. She's in a titanium egg butt snaffle with the peanut. Yep, that's what it is. So it's just a really lightweight snaffle bit. She feels very happy in it. She's a lot less mouthy than she was before. And again, I don't think it's necessarily because of the bit. I think it's just because, she's just learning to relax and take a breath. And so all of those things just sort of, everything's connected and it all just rolls together. So she's obviously, she's a cute horse. She's well intentioned. She doesn't want to do anything naughty. All she wants is for a rider who is calm and, transmits calm and structure and can just sort of lay down the framework for her and show her the structure that will provide her with the most amount of confidence. And she's really happy to listen, and she'll try her. This is a horse who I think will just try and try and try. I don't think there's any end to the amount of heart that she has. And it's kind of like now I've got her sort of coming onto my side. She's like, "Oh, okay, this actually does feel better when I listen to you." And then I am less anxious. And so it's like now we're gaining steam with this. I'm catching some traction here. she's seeing that the way that I'm asking her to do things is I have everything under control. She doesn't have to worry. And I thought she put down some really nice work today. And I was talking still about the mounting, but right after I got on, there's like 40 seconds of walking, which is a new awesome thing. When I first got her, she actually just straight up wouldn't walk. She just had too much anxiousness. She would want to jig instead of walk. It's not like she's doing any big, bad, terrible thing. There's actually no bad behavior whatsoever. So it's not like you get on and she was like bolting away with me. Nothing like that. She just wanted to jig. She just couldn't have a nice, calm, even walk. And we have found that now, which is so excited. I've never been so happy to just walk, which is, you just have to meet them where they are. And so that is what makes it so rewarding, is when you get one of the ones that needs a little bit more help than the others, and then you see them catching on, and it's really fun. Two things to note about her. Well, the first is just that, like most of these guys, she finds the left a little bit easier than the right. So her left canter is definitely a bit stronger than the right canter. So when I canter her, I actually just got up off her back and let her coast around a little bit of half seat, because I think she's worked a lot, so she's definitely getting a little bit tired, and that was the last thing we did. But also, she just had her hind shoes pulled off, and her hind feet were breaking up a little bit. So I do think we have just a little bit of hind foot soreness going on as we adjust to being barefoot behind. And so it was a little bit easier for her to do that right canter with me up in half seat. Actually, though, luckily today the farrier came, so she just got her feet done. So she's in a brand new set of regular steel shoes up front. And then, they just sort of rounded off the hinds. And so hopefully helped to smooth that out. And so the breakup that was happening will stop. So to the right, she, as I was saying, she finds the left easier right now, as they usually do. So when she picks up the wrong lead, I'm not going to make a big fuss about this. The last thing that she needs is any sort of fuss. She needs everything to be calm. And what I find is that usually, if you just keep counter cantering them, they figure out really quickly that actually it would be so much easier if they would just go on the correct lead. So a couple of times I trot a couple steps and ask again. I'm just trying to see if she's figured it out yet. Oh, maybe it is just easier to step into the right canter. And if she doesn't, so be it. We'll just work on the counter canter, and it's not a big deal. Eventually, I got the right canter over a pole today. Yesterday when I rode her, we got it by doing counter canter, and then she just swapped her lead. So every day she's giving me a little bit different answer. And also, I'm sure she's getting a little bit tired and sore because she has been working quite a bit. So she's about to get a long weekend. But she did some great counter canter work. Okay, so fast forward a minute or two, we get the right canter over the pole. And so here's the right canter. It's actually quite lovely also, just like the left. She does have she moves really cute in all three of her gaits, actually. And the more she relaxes and she finds that breath, the more the top line will relax and the better her swing and her movement will be. And then in the last minute or so here, I've just got her on the ground. I just wanted to show you, this is her getting tacked up. She is not an anxious horse. She does not want to be an anxious horse, which is why I think she is making progress so quickly in the tack, is because actually she is a calm, happy horse. And so I'm just trying to get that to bubble over into the riding. But this is her halfway getting through tacked up. My hounds came in and they wanted water, so we had to pause to fill up their water bowl. But she's not an anxious horse to be around. She's actually just the opposite. She's very sweet. She wants attention. She stands super quietly on cross tie. She was excellent for the farrier today. So this is the real her. And this sort of fostering, this sort of positiveness is just sort of carrying over into the riding, and it's getting better and better.